When asked what it takes to write a great country song, the late Hall of Fame songsmith Harlan Howard gave a great answer: 3 chords and the truth. But if you really want to make a living off of writing a great country song, the truth is, you better know your way around the business of music publishing. Because once you peel away all its layers, the glitz and the glamour, the agents and the managers, the platinum plaques and those inch-thick contracts, at its core, the music industry is all about the songs.
For a guy like me, the song is everything.
It's the whole thing.
It all begins there with professional songwriters that come into offices every day from 9 to 5 and sit down to write a great song.
Number one songs that hang around in the top of the charts for a long period of time can earn, up to $1 million or more in performance income. So it can be a significant amount of money.
Nothing gets people's attention like throwing out the words $1 million. Now, before you bump your head on a cloud while daydreaming about the mansion on the hill, I need you to get your feet on the ground as we talk about the principle behind this symbol right here. If you just now mumbled something that sounded like copyright, you can give yourself partial credit. But before you break your arm patting yourself on the back, it's important for you to fully understand just why this little C in a circle is the alpha and omega of the multi-billion-dollar music business.
The copyright shows who owns the song.
The copyright process in and of itself is a way for writers to protect themselves.
That is an important thing for songwriters to do, especially when they feel like they've really written a great song or a classic song.
The more documentation you have to establish when the song was started, the better.
You send an audio and lyric copy to Library of Congress, and that proves that you own that song.
And that copyright holds that ownership legally with the publisher and the songwriter for the legal amount of time, life plus 70 years.
So that surefire hit song that's been rattling around in your head, it's now a bona fide copyright. That means you're ready to take the first few steps into the wild, wild world of music publishing. Ladies and gentlemen, let the copyright exploitation begin. Music publishers perform 4 main functions: acquire songs, develop songwriters, exploitation of copyrights, and collecting.
There's a few ways that a publisher acquires songs. The first and most common way is by signing songwriters and having songwriters on staff.
Signing new writers, midline writers, experienced writers, a few writer artists, and just song by song by song you build the catalog.
The other way, going out and acquiring pre-existing catalogs.
The second way is a lot quicker, but a lot more expensive.
So that's why publishing companies need writers, great writers, who write great songs. The difference between a good song and a great song can be millions of dollars.
This town is full of good songs. You throw a stone and you find a good song. So the thing is to write a great song because the competition is really high in a good way. The craft is really, really amazing here.
That's where the number 2 function, develop songwriters, comes in.
A publisher can really show their worth to a writer when it comes to the development process.
You're finding and you're nurturing songwriters and young artist writers and trying to get them ready to be competitive in the marketplace.
When we're able to see a new writer and hear a few songs that they've written and determine that they have the it, whatever that is, to write hit songs, then we try to get with them, spend time with them on their songs, help critique the songs for them. We set them up with other writers for co-writes. A lot of people who come to town maybe have never co-written, and so we're able to help them along with their craft by putting them with other really great Nashville songwriters. We may be the only industry in the world where the word exploit has a positive connotation to it.
Exploiting. Don't exploit my songs. Oh yes, exploit my songs to the max.
Exploit to us simply means take the writer's works and make sure that recording artists, TV professionals, movie professionals, and advertising agency professionals get to hear the music.
Whether it be a male song perfect for Alan Jackson or a female song perfect for Carrie Underwood, we have the relationships necessary to take those songs and put them hopefully in Alan's hands or in Carrie's hands, but if not their hands, then their producer's hands and the label's hands, the manager's hands, anywhere that we think we can put a CD that can ultimately be played for Carrie Underwood or Alan Jackson and others. That's our role. And that's how we make money, so it's obviously in our best interest that we get those songs cut too.
So the fourth thing a publisher does is get out there and collect monies for their copyrights.
Did you hear that? Not only was the word money in that sentence, it was connected to the word collect. Now that's the kind of verb that can help a songwriter make an actual living writing songs. Now, before you start counting those future earnings, you better get real comfortable dealing with fractions.
Well, when it comes to royalties for all copyrights, there's two shares of it. There's a writer share and there's a publisher share.
The publisher does get an equal share in the copyright, which I think is very justified. When a writer first comes to town, they find it very difficult to get anything going without a publisher representing them.
So, in what ways can music publishers turn your chords and lyrics into legal tender? There are several, but our main focus will be on three big ones: mechanical royalties, performance income, and sync rights.
When a song is recorded and placed on an album, every time that album is sold, a mechanical royalty is paid to the writer and the publisher. And right now, that statutory mechanical rate is 9.1 cents. So for instance, if you have a song on a Tim McGraw album, and you have one song and it was written by one writer, and it sells 1 million units, that's $91,000 that the record label pays to that writer and publisher.
So what happens to that slice of pie when you co-write with someone? Say you co-wrote the song on that album with another writer who is attached to another publishing company. That $91,000 gets split down the middle with you and the other writer. Then each half is split in half again, now with the two different publishers taking their cut. Now you're down to $22,750. But mechanical royalties make up only a portion of a songwriter's income.
The second thing would be performance income. The predominant one that we receive most of our income from in the country music industry is radio performance.
There are three companies that in the United States collect public performance royalties for songwriters and publishers. There's BMI, ASCAP, and CSAC.
They collect on the writer and the publisher's behalf.
They reach out and grab money from radio performances and television performances and concerts and nightclubs and places like that. Wherever music is performed, they're licensing it and collecting it and distributing it back to us.
Another major revenue source for a song can happen when Hollywood or Madison Avenue come a-calling.
Another way that a publisher makes money is on synchronization royalties, and that is the placement of songs in movies or commercials or television shows.
The sync license is the one-time fee, permission really to use it.
Sync income is usually a negotiable fee.
And they also have to pay it up front, too. That's the other nice thing about a sync.
And these royalties can go anywhere from just a few $100s all the way up into the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And as country music dives into the digital age, publishers are thrilled to be swimming neck deep in new revenue streams.
There are other sources of income that are developing out there with ringtones and
video games, iPhone application games. Technology is not our enemy. I think it's our friend, as long as we can do it legally and safe. I'm all for it.
But before any publisher can make the first penny off a song, somebody's got to sing it. That's where the ancient and mysterious art of song plugging comes into play.
Song pluggers have to be very personable folks. They have to be able to take rejection very well. They have to have leather skin.
To make it simple, I always say they try to rent your song. They don't sell them, they rent them, you know? So you want them rented as much as possible.
A song plugger will set up meetings with producers, managers, artists, labels, whoever they can, to get in their office and play the songs.
Whomever can help you get that song recorded, I want to go play them songs.
Typically before the meeting you want to know what type of songs they're looking for so you can show up prepared.
When you find that producer, that A&R person that really likes your song and they put it on hold, well, that song may be on hold for 2 weeks or it may be on hold for a month until that A&R person or that producer can sit down with the artist and play the artist that song. Assuming you make it to the next point where the artist really likes it and the producer likes it and the record label likes it and your song's still on hold, then once they record it, then you're really in the game.
In the game. That's where you want to be, and that's where the music publisher has the power to put you. So, how do you go about finding the perfect publisher? The answer is one word, cleverly repeated 3 times for effect. Relationships, relationships, relationships.
where there's one good songwriter, there's going to be a group of 3 or 4. That's why networking is so important as a songwriter, because I would say a good 90% plus of the songwriters I've signed, I have found out about them through another writer.
The more people you meet, the more opportunities you're going to have to get in to see some of the publishers around town.
If you want to be serious and you want to be a full-time country music songwriter, you need to be located in Nashville, and you need to do that full-time.
You wanted to be a surfboard salesman, you wouldn't stay in Minnesota. Okay? You'd go to where the water is.
Since it is Music City, there's all these great writers' nights in town. Almost every club in this town has a writers' night of some sort. And what a great way to get inspired. To, number one, get out there, meet people that are doing the exact same thing you are.
Find co-writers, find people that you really think have the potential, and write with them.
Another great way is through the PROs, through ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC.
They have membership people there looking for new talent and then placing them with the right publisher.
They're a wonderful place for new writers to get information and to establish a little bit of a Nashville connection relationship.
Another great way is through Songwriting Workshops. I know the NSAI has workshops. The Bluebird has good workshops, and that's a great way for songwriters to network, meet other songwriters, but also meet publishers.
When it comes to the business of writing songs, that's the way it is in Music City. You come strong or you don't come at all. But if you have the chops, an ideal position for an up-and-coming songwriter is to become a staff writer for a publishing company.
The process of a writer and a publisher hooking up is sort of a marriage of sorts, and it takes a dating process, and it sometimes is a trial and error thing. But it's a very important relationship, I think, for every songwriter.
Most songwriters' deals for a brand new songwriter are either 3 or 4 years base. That means 1 year firm and 2 or 3 one-year options. Now, in that year, they'll be expected to write a certain number of songs.
Every deal is different, but I would say a 12-song minimum is wholly written songs is very standard for Nashville.
Now, when a songwriter signs with a publisher, they may get paid in advance, which is, you can look at it as a salary. They get paid X number of dollars a year to write there. Well, that's an advance on future earnings.
Once we get some recordings or we get a placement in a TV show or in a film, then as those earnings come in, the portion that would have normally gone directly to the writer will actually stay in-house with us to recoup the advances that we have paid them.
Publishers take a chance on writers. They invest money, and so many times that doesn't pay off, so they're out that money.
If we are not able to make enough or to earn enough to repay those advances, then that's just an expense that the publisher eats.
Bottom line, the pursuit of any career in entertainment is a roll of the dice. But there are ways you can increase your odds. Just don't expect to find any shortcuts on the long, hard road to success.
Being a professional songwriter is a hard business.
You have to have a realistic view of what it takes to compete with the world's best.
It's a very small percentage of people that make their living as a songwriter.
Harlan Howard said one time to a young man who was discouraged about coming to town and no one seemed to be wanting his songs, "Well, son, they didn't send for you. It's a tough business. There are a lot of talented people here, and the ones who focus and who are driven will be the ones who will succeed."